Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc., the channel all about bringing you as much nerdy content as possible. Today for you, we've got another Dragon Village M video, and we're going to be covering the Lightning Dragon. The Fire Lightning Dragon to be more specific, but we will touch on the others. The reason I'm going to cover this guy is because I talked about the Smart Dragon, the Earth Smart Dragon, in my intro guide for beginners. So I recommended getting him for starting the game. But there are plenty of other people out there that chose the Lightning Dragon instead, or have just got him as a drop. So I want to go ahead and cover him because he is a very widely used dragon. Alright? So without further ado, let's get into this review. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so that way you can see new content all the time. Mostly I try to do a Dragon Village video every week, so at least one. This week I'm doing two, so more bang for your buck if you're a big Dragon Village fan. But I also try to do at least one other video that'll cover something else random, something else nerdy. I've got lots of different ideas in the shoot, and as well as I like to try to cover other mobile games, at least just give you my perceptions of them before you commit a whole bunch of time into a game that turns out to be a bust, right? Or tell you about games that aren't busts, that are worth your time. But yeah, so the Lightning Dragon. So the fire, they're all going to be attack types, okay? So this is the highest tier here, the adult dragon. There's your junior dragon, and then your little baby dragon. So, of course, you got all the cool effects with the adult dragon, just like always. And so his flavor text reads, one of 4 god dragons that sealed Darknix, the guardian of darkness, a righteous dragon that freely controls fearsome lightning. So, pretty standard stuff there. Although it's kind of interesting that it says one of 4 god dragons when there is just legitimately a god dragon. I believe he's... Let's see if we can find him right fast. Where are you, buddy? So yeah, there is a lightning god dragon. So I just find that super interesting, and he's a fire type, so he's in the same realm. But the other dragon isn't considered a lightning god dragon. That's someone else entirely. So kind of confusing there, so make sure you stay on top of it. But yeah, but that's all flavor text anyway, so it doesn't really change things too much. But let's get into his skills and take a look at him here. So his main drag skill, right, is inflict damage with concentrated lightning. Power is greatly increased proportional to your attack speed. So it's a line attack, hits 4 targets, and cooldown of 32 seconds. And we can bump it up to increase the damage. So this is going to be another one of your dragons that you're going to put your speed runes on, right? So your set of 4 blue runes, and your second slot will of course be attack speed percentage. So pretty simple standard stuff here. But let's look at the other one. So the light version will be proportional to your critical damage. The dark one is this attack receives 55% bonus from attack. So you're going to run your attack runes on this guy, so all your red stuff. And then crit damage on the earth one. So looks like light and earth is both crit damage, but then you got attack speed, or I like this one better, just the straight attack. So you're going to get the bonus from your attack percentage runes, and you're going to get an additional bonus because you're running attack percentage runes. So the dark one's going to hit like a truck on this skill, okay? But let's go on and look at the second one. So this guy's going to be fast, attack speed percentage. When attacking, 20% chance to inflict damage to the enemy at the front. Inflict 1.5 damage bonus to enemies above 50% of their HP. And this is a target count of 3, so this skill is going to be going off on 3 enemies when it does. But only 20% chance, and even if you increase the skill, it only increases the damage. It doesn't increase the chance. So, again, Thankfully, this dragon is he scales off of attack speed percentage, so he's gonna be attacking a lot, right, with his basic attack skill. So that's where this 20%, 1 in 5 every time he attacks isn't terrible. If you can get him fast enough, then it'll kind of compensate for that. Because let's look at the other guys over here. So this is every set duration. So every 15 seconds, the whole enemy team, so in PvP, mind you, so target count of 5, inflict damage to enemy at their rear. 70% chance to stun for 4 seconds. So, and you just increase the damage here. You don't increase the percentage chance. So 70% chance to stun. That's for 4 seconds on 5 enemies. So the light one is doing some work over here. It's only every 15 seconds, so you got to make it count there, because you're only going to get probably 2 or 3 uses out of this before the battle's over. Typically, sometimes you'll have those long battles, but in general. So then the dark one. So every set duration, so 7 seconds, so half the time of the light one. Inflict damage to enemy with the lowest HP. Inflict 1.5 to enemies below 50% of their HP. So I really like this one in particular, especially over the fire one, because it's every 7 seconds. So the other one is only 20% chance with each attack. So I feel like this one will probably proc more often and more reliably, of course. And it does it to the lowest HP enemy, whereas this one gets the bonus to enemies above 50% chance. So I like this guy because he has a chance of just, when you take those enemies down, he just knocks them out of the battle, right? Whereas the fire one, it's not going to really knock them out of the battle so much, okay? So this one specifically targets whoever has lowest HP, especially if it's an enemy in the backfield who has, who it's hard to hit without doing a targeted attack. So this will just target them specifically every 7 seconds and does more damage if they're below 50% chance. And that's what you want, is you want it to do more damage at the end rather than the beginning, because they can just heal right back up. So if they're already low and this skill goes off, they just get wiped out. And of course you increase the damage. Then the earth one, every set duration, so 5 seconds, 2 enemies get inflict damage to enemy at the front. Power is increased proportionally to your critical damage. So again, going off of his first skill that scales off of critical damage, this one will also scale off of critical damage, alright? So, and it's every set duration, so 5 seconds, you're going to hit the front 2 tanks. So, I think this one's pretty good. 5 seconds to hit 2 enemies. Yeah, it's going to be your tanks, so that's kind of disappointing. If it was every 5 seconds to 2 enemies at the back, oh man. Like, goodbye attackers, goodbye healers that are based off of like attack runes and stuff that have super low health. This guy would nuke those, but every 5 seconds doing damage to enemies is pretty good. Especially since it scales off the same thing as your main skill, so you don't have to split your runes up to get that attack bonus. Alright. So I feel like the fire lightning dragon really loses out in this category compared to pretty much everybody else. So passive number 2 here is when attacking, 10% chance to increase attack speed for 10 seconds. And you can increase it up to 15% chance. So, and it's for 10 seconds. So you have a chance to just continuously stack attack speed. I don't know if it attacks, if it stacks, but you'll at least have your time. You could have a chance to beat infinite. If he's attacking fast enough, then he could just permanently have this attack speed buff on him, which is cool. So that'll help power him up. So, because the faster he is, the more damage he's going to do, of course, on his main skill. But also, the faster he's attacking, the more chances he has to proc this. So if this is proccing a whole lot, then he's going to start outperforming everyone else. In the beginning of the fight, at least. But I feel like this is a thing that is going to take some time. It's not going to be right out the gate sort of thing. So, and that's when you need him at his fastest, is when the enemy is above 50% HP. So, just food for thought there. Alright, Lightning Dragon here. Your evasion is increased by 20, and critical rate is increased by 10%. This is just a passive. This is just all the time. He always has this buff, and you can increase it. So you can increase his evasion by 40 at the end, and his crit rate by 20%. So this poor guy who has a chance to increase just his attack speed doesn't even tell you how much it increases his attack speed, and it's for only 10 seconds. This is just permanent. He just always has this buff. So Lightning Dragon, wow, that's awesome. And also Earth Dragon has the same one. I'll just go ahead and cover that. So both Earth and Light really dominating in this one. And then the Dark one, increase your attack for 15 seconds when an enemy dies. And it does have a cooldown, which is a shame. So you can lower to 10 seconds. So every time one dies, you know, you can get this buff here. And usually a dragon will die every 10 seconds. But it's when an enemy dies, so it's not even when your own dies. And again, you don't know how much it increases the attack by, which is kind of annoying. And it's only for 15 seconds. I kind of wish that instead of the cooldown decreased, it was a duration increase. So bump it up to 20 seconds. I think that would have been better. But again, at least it's bumping the stat that you're scaling off of, at least for your main attack. But so in this category, I would definitely say Light and Earth are going to win this. Alright, and then the very end here, so this is going to be your final, your buff to your drag skill. Increase attack speed for 20 seconds after Thunder Dragon Blast has been activated. Skills range is also increased. Alright, so again, so this is going to be one of your skills that you're going to activate first, because you're going to get this attack speed buff as soon as possible, right? So that way all your skills will start scaling upwards because of that. So he'll start doing a lot better if this is the first skill that you use in a fight, okay? Just a little tip there for when playing this guy. Now your light one, Thunder Dragon Blast inflicts only 1.2 times damage to stunned enemies. Not that great. I mean, you have a chance of, what is it? Oh yeah, on this skill here. 70% chance to stun target for 4 seconds. It is the whole team, which is cool. So you really got to kind of calculate when you want to use this skill. Not a skill that you're just going to use all the time. Powers increased your critical damage, so you have a chance to do some good stuff here, but you really need some crit rate to balance out this crit damage. You can have super high crit damage, but if you never crit, then what's the point? You know what I mean? I've talked about that in other videos, that I like crit damage because you can do some crazy numbers, but if you don't have the crit rate to balance out, then you're not going to get those numbers ever. But then the problem comes in if you're having to cut in somewhere, put in some crit rate runes, or make your middle slot a crit rate rune instead of a crit damage rune, then you're taking out the buff that you're going to get to your dragon. So that's what I really hate when dragons scale off of crit damage. It just bugs me super bad because I have to take away from one area to give to another area, and then yeah, so it doesn't do so great. And this is only 1.2 times, so there's no like increasing this at all. 1.2 times damage to stunned enemies. So dark, or the lightning dragon really falls off on this one. Even, I mean, the fire one does better than that. So, and it's not even that great of a buff. And then the dark one, increase attack for 20 seconds after the skill is activated. So again, another one you're going to want to use right off early in the game, so you get that buff at the beginning of the fight. Right? And then the earth one, Thunder Blast has 100% chance to stun target for 5 seconds. 100% chance to stun target for 5 seconds. And he can hit 4 enemies with 1 blast. So I think overall in this, even though again it's critical damage is what this scales off of, I think the drag buff here at the end more than makes up for that. 100% chance to stun anybody is always good, and when you can do it to 4 enemies at once, wow, that's great. So, in all, unfortunately, I feel like the fire lightning is probably the least useful out of all of these guys. I think in total, the best one for just the drag skill would be your Earth. His just basic skill there, his drag skill is just by far the best. Being able to stun 4 enemies is great. His passive is okay. It is a solid one. It's not anything to write home about. And then the fire one, if you can get fast enough, it would be pretty good early in the fight, because again, only enemies above 50% of their HP, that's what you're getting the bonus on. It's a solid bonus, and it hits 3 enemies at once, so that's good. I think that's like the highest out of all of them. Oh, I take that back. Light Darkness can hit 5 with his, or Light Lightning, sorry. I'm always talking about the Darkness. Cooldown of 15 seconds, so he's going to be doing it the least often out of everybody by far. But inflicts enemies damage to the enemies at the rear, but 70% chance to stun for 4 seconds. So being able 70% chance to stun the entire team for 4 seconds every 15 seconds. I mean, that's good. You're taking the enemy out of the game for a third of the fight. I mean, a third of a fight where your enemy can't do anything. Oof. Good luck for them. And then the dark one here, every set duration, you know, they inflict damage with the lowest HP. It only hits 1, but it's every 7 seconds, so that's cool. And it's to the enemy with the lowest HP, so he's gonna have the highest chance of actually knocking out weak enemies. Okay, so in total, I would say probably the light wins, but followed closely behind dark in this category. And this one's okay when an enemy dies, but you may never even get this buff. I'd rather have something I could use from the beginning of the fight than something that may never happen. I mean, if you could have used that attack buff at the beginning of the fight, maybe you could have won. But because you didn't ever get that buff, you end up losing, right? But Earth and Light are going to win in this category because theirs is just active all the time. 40% or 40 evasion and then 20% crit rate just constantly. Wow, that's super good. And yeah, fire. Sorry, buddy, but again, you fell in this category as well. 10% chance to increase attack speed for 10 seconds. I mean, you can bump it up to 15, but yeah, no. And then at the end, we've already talked about this one. Earth wins, hands down, in the support category. So I think the runes are pretty self-explanatory, just based off of what we talked about. So you got your attack speed for your fire one here, and you know, so your core blue runes, and your second slot is going to be your attack speed percentage. And for your other two, he's an attacker, so you're probably going to want to throw some crit rate on there. So your 4th slot will be a crit rate rune with probably some crit rate runes as well, so your purple ones. You may consider running a counterbalance to that, so running crit damage runes for those 2 and then a crit rate in the 4th slot, or reverse it. Either way works, just to keep that nice balance there. Your lightning dragon and your earth dragon, so these guys you're going to want crit damage runes, so at least 4 crit damage runes, and probably a crit rate set in there as well. And so attack percentage, crit rate, or crit damage in that middle slot in that 4. Not really sure what would be the best. Maybe crit rate. Nah, crit damage, because that's your biggest percentage there. And then run the crit rate runes, because the crit rate runes give you more of a percentage than the crit damage runes do. So, and then attack percentage in the 6th slot on these guys. And then your dark one here, he's pretty straightforward. You're going to run your 4 attack runes and run attack percentage, probably crit rate, and then attack percentage in the last one. and then whatever you chose for your middle slot there, do the opposite for that second set of runes. What I recommend would probably be doing crit rate runes and then crit damage rune for the fourth slot. Alright, so what'd you think of this video? Put your comments on, if you disagree with me on this. What do you disagree about? If you think the light or the dark or the fire lightning dragon is better than what I said, then defend your case. I mean, I'm always open to change my mind, and I will freely do that if you can convince me. All right. In total, again, the reason I say that in the beginning of the game you should use the Earth Smart Dragon over the Lightning is because, one, the Fire Lightning isn't that great in comparison. Also, there is a lot less healers in this game. I've gotten mountains of fire attackers, right? Or mountains of just attackers in general that I can use throughout the entire game. But I've gotten just a handful of healers. I've only gotten one 5-star healer besides the Earth Smart Dragon, so the rest is all 4 stars. But I've gotten so many Nat 5 attackers that I don't even know what to do with them all, right? So at some point I just start using all my fire or all my attackers as just my 5 stars to turn my 5 stars into 6 stars. So I just don't think you need another attacker in the beginning of the game when there are so many that you're going to get just all the time. So go with the healer because they're a lot more rare. So I still stand by that statement. Although this guy does look way cooler than the nerdy Smart Dragon there with his little cap and his book floating out. But it is what it is. So I do hope you did enjoy this video, though, even if you disagreed with me. I really appreciate if you would like the video and subscribe to the channel so that way you can see all the content that I put out. I'll do another dragon review video hopefully next week. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get 2 videos in because it is the holidays for Christmas and all that stuff. So be very busy with family going from place to place. So hopefully I can get a video in for you. Maybe 2 if it's less hectic than I think it will be. So, but we'll see. With that, we'll see you in the next video.